The idea, when it came to me, and who knows why we have certain ideas, but the idea was to make a monumental painting. And the subject of the painting, a series of standing portraits in a rather an immense space. So the space was equally important to the figures, and that they were standing was part of the initial idea. All of that came to me in one I had a visual image of that. But since I've made the painting, I have come to understand that the size contributes to people dealing with the subject of the painting. They stay here longer, and they contemplate longer. It makes this object occupy some experiential place somewhere between a painting and the temporal arts, theater and cinema. You can't experience this painting quickly. The portrait served a larger purpose than portraying each individual person. I chose people that I had known for a long time and known quite well for a long time. I wanted to set up a situation where the familiarity with each other would be a subtext of the painting. If I paint from a photograph or from a sketch, I can't actually observe you in space, how you display space, and how you live in space. How the light hits you, not how the light hit you that was photographed and then how the light hits a photograph. And that's what I'm painting, in large part. I knew that the figures themselves had to approximate life size for you to experience them as real people. You make the leap in your imagination that more or less that painted figure stands in for a person easier than if it was half that size. Over all of these years painting from life, I've developed a painting method that I didn't want to alter. And the method requires me to see my model at all times while I'm painting. So I'm looking at you, and I'm making a mark, and I'm looking at you. So I needed a relatively narrow section of this long canvas stretched at one time, and stretched tight enough to paint the ground and then to paint the figure. I wanted to stretch it and be able to release the tension, roll that section out of the way, stretch another section, roll it out of the way. And so I went to some architects and other smart people, and we figured it out. I wanted the space to be just specific enough that your mind could imagine where they might be, but indeterminate enough that you concentrate on the figure and not the background. It's almost a space of more what it's not than what it is. It's just the air we breathe. I didn't want there to be a negotiation between us about how they were going to stand, because I wanted how they stood, how they presented themselves to the world to be totally their own view of themselves. And once they were comfortable with it and committed to it, then I turned around and started painting. I stayed with my initial title, which was Generation, because I thought of this painting as a document of a certain like slice of my generation. You know, if you're looking out to 20, 30, 40, years and more, I see the poignancy of being a human being, the tragedy of it, and the suffering of it, and the joy of it, and the connectedness of it, and the aloneness of it, and the nobility of trying to make the best of what we have, ourselves. There's a certain gestalt about our the time that we've lived that this painting documents.